I'm going to ruin an album without changing one note. I'm not deleting a song. I'm not remixing anything. I'm just changing the running order. And if that changes the album, then sequencing must be part of the music. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Dave's Side One. I'm Dave, your host over here at Art of Listening Records, where every record has a story and every story starts on side one. We are on to musical argument number 6 for the week, and today's argument is simple. Using the Yes album Tormato as our example, an album is not just the songs, it's the songs in that order. Because rearrange them, and you may discover that you've created a completely different listening experience. Think about your favorite album. Now imagine the closing song at track 2. Put the ballad first. Move track 1 to the middle. Take the song that closes side 1 and use it to open side 2. Same musicians, same recordings, same performances. Every note remains exactly where it was recorded. But is it still the same album? Yeah, I don't think it is. Running order controls things that we sometimes barely notice. Anticipation, contrast, momentum, relief, surprise, where the energy rises, where it settles, where side 1 leaves us, and the final thing the record says before everything goes quiet. That's a lot of responsibility for a numbered list. So let's use Yes's album Tormato. 8 tracks. Future Times, Rejoice. Don't Kill the Whale. Madrigal. Release, Release. Arriving UFO. Circus of Heaven. Onward. And On the Silent Wings of Freedom. Just looking at those titles, you can see the record is moving through different kinds of material. And those contrasts make sequence important. On the Silent Wings of Freedom is the album closer. What happens if I move it to the beginning? I haven't hurt the recording. The song is still the song. But I've taken away its job as the album's final statement. What if I put Onward near the beginning? Again, maybe you'd like it, maybe you wouldn't. That isn't the point. The point is that the songs now react to each other differently. This is one of the fascinating things about sequencing. The song before a track changes how we hear the track after it. A quiet song can make the next song feel enormous. A heavy song can make a gentle song feel even more fragile. 2 similar songs together may reinforce an idea or make both feel repetitive. Context changes perception. We talked about that earlier with Chicago 9. Today we're going to take it one step further. The context is being created by the running order itself. And vinyl adds another decision. Where does side 1 stop? That's not a small question because after that song, everything stops. The listener flips the record, then something has to begin again. So the artist isn't only sequencing track 1 through track 8, they're sequencing 2 beginnings, 2 endings, and the relationship between them. That physical break becomes part of the structure. So here's today's side 1 test. 3 questions. Does track 1 open the right door? Does the first song prepare me for the album I'm actually going to hear? Question 2, does each song benefit from its neighbors? Does track 4 make sense after track 3? Does contrast help? Does momentum build? And question 3, does the album closer feel like an ending? When the last song finishes, does the album feel finished? 3 questions. That's today's side 1 test. And then there's shuffle. I use shuffle. There's nothing wrong with shuffle. Sometimes I want songs. Sometimes I want variety. Sometimes I don't care what comes next. But shuffle gives me a different experience. It doesn't prove sequencing doesn't matter. It proves that songs can survive outside the sequence. Those are two different things. And yes, sometimes we probably overthink this. Not every album is Dark Side of the Moon. Not every running order contains some hidden grand design. Sometimes a song comes next because somebody thought it sounded good there. Fine, that's still sequencing. The order doesn't have to be conceptual to matter. It just has to affect what we hear. So here's my verdict. If I can move one song and change how the songs around it feel, then running order is part of the album. Not decoration, not paperwork, part of the music. Same songs, different sequence, different album. So here's today's Side 1 spin. What album has a running order you would never change? Not one song, not one position. Track 1 belongs first. The closer belongs last. Everything in between is exactly where it should be. Now, you can't use Dark Side of the Moon as your example, but come back and tell me the artist, tell me the album, and tell me why the sequence is perfect. Well, that's it for today's Side 1. Thanks again for spending a little time with me, and please keep that needle in the groove, and we will talk to you tomorrow. And tomorrow's final Week 7 argument is every song can be here, and you may still not have heard the album. Talk to you tomorrow.